With Season 3 Reloaded just around the corner, we are just a couple of days away from a huge zombies update, bringing us a whole bunch of new content that we're going to be going through in today's video. And the first thing I do want to touch on is the brand new Modern Warfare 3 Zombies trailer we actually got that released the other day. There's a couple of different things that we can see in here, which is very, very exciting. And it is obviously all taking place in the new Dark Aether Zone, which is going to be hydroelectric. And it is all based around Dr. Jensen. And of course, alongside this, we are going to have a brand new story mission to complete. So once we've completed that, we can then unlock the Dark Aether Zone. So then we can go into that Dark Aether Zone to unlock the new schematics, you know, grind for the new acquisitions and things like that. And just keep going back in to get the acquisitions game after game so we can keep using them, which we'll get into in just a moment's time. So one of the first things I do want to point out is in this trailer, as you can see, they are shooting some of the big red crystals, which I'm assuming is going to be something to do with the story mission. As you guys know, in the very first story mission, you had to go in, activate the little portal device things, and then you'd have to kill zombies around that to be able to progress on to the next one. I have a feeling it's going to be something similar to that. You destroy the red crystal, you let zombies come within that area, you take out the zombies until the bar does fill up. Once you've done that, you can move on to the next one, and we'll probably have to do this 2 or 3 times to actually be able to complete the first part of the story mission. And then just like all the other story missions, we are of course going to have to upgrade some gear to be able to actually activate the portal. And as you can see in this little bit right here, here is one of the first little things that we can see. One of the items that we're going to need is going to be what looks like a toy giraffe. We don't know what the other ones are, but this is one we're going to be taking a look at because it is obviously within the trailer. We can see the first thing we are going to need to get an upgrade. So as you can see, there are also some floating platforms that are going to be taking place in this Dark Aether Zone that we're about to get up onto. The zombies can get up onto, which I'm super excited to see how this does play out. And then the last thing that I want to touch on within this trailer, guys, is towards the end of it, as you can see, there is a boss zombie towards the end. If you guys have played any of the other story missions, you will know we have to take down a boss to actually be able to finish it. That is the final part of the story mission. With the last update, I believe it was a mangler we had to take down, and this season it looks like it is going to be a disciple. Was kind of hoping we'd get a new boss, but I'm pretty sure a couple weeks ago now, Treyarch did confirm that they're not actually adding new bosses into the game. So I don't know if at any point we will see a new boss, but this time it does look like a disciple. Going to be a little bit more challenging than mangler because, of course, a disciple can gain health off of zombies, you know, yourself, other players in the lobby. So this is going to be slightly more challenging, but again, it shouldn't be too difficult to take down a disciple, as again, the story missions are normally just a tier 2. So if you're upgraded with a legendary F2 and a tier 3 pack-a-punch, and that's how all your squad's kitted out, you should be able to take this disciple down with no problems whatsoever. But that's what I wanted to touch upon within the trailer. And of course, like I mentioned before, once we have completed the story mission, we'll be able to upgrade some objects and some items to actually activate the new Dark Aether's portal, which is where we can then go in, start grinding the schematics, get the acquisitions. And the 3 schematics that are being added, guys, are going to be the dead wire detonators. And this is going to electrify your blast for massive damage using the dead wire detonators. And this is going to add the dead wire ammo mod to all of your explosives. This isn't just equipment. This isn't just lethals or tacticals. This also goes towards RPGs, RGL launchers. And as we all know, the RGL is ridiculously broken right now. So having this on is just going to make the RGL even more broken. So activating this new schematic and putting the new acquisition on is going to make all of your explosives have the dead wire ammo mod active to them all, which is going to be absolutely insane. This is going to be really, really good for taking down boss zombies, mega abominations, and things like that. This is when this can make the launch and the RGL and things like that just ridiculously broken within this game. So the next schematic is going to be the golden mask filter, and essentially what this is going to do is it's going to regenerate your gas mask's health when you're not using it. So you're not going to have an unlimited gas mask for being in the gas, but if you're not using your gas mask, let's say for example you go and do an infested stronghold and you use half the health of your golden gas mask. It can be a normal gas mask, but let's use a golden one for example. Let's say you use half your golden gas mask's health, and then you come out of that infested stronghold and, you know, you're just running around the normal map where there's no gas or anything like that. Whilst you're not using your gas mask, it is going to regenerate health. So instead of having to go to an ammo crate to regen the health or have to find a new gas mask or buy a new gas mask, the health of the gas mask is actually just going to regenerate, which is a really, really useful thing to have, I think. So you're in situations sometimes where you might use half the gas mask's health, you know, 3/4 of the health, but if you're then not using it, it is going to regenerate in your pocket, which is really great. And I believe this also works in a way that, let's say for example, you put this schematic on and you actually end up going through an entire gas mask and the health just completely goes and that gas mask is now broken, so you need a new one. If you go and get a new one, the schematic or the acquisition will still apply to that gas mask. So a bit like the Mags of Holding schematic that we do have, if it's attached to a gun, it is going to be attached to all the guns that you use. Bit like this for the gas mask one, if you pick up different gas masks, it is still going to count. So let's say you start the game with a regular gas mask and then halfway through the game you find a golden gas mask and you want to upgrade to that, you can still do so and the acquisition is still going to work towards that new golden gas mask, which is absolutely amazing. And then the final schematic, guys, is going to be the Sergeant's Beret. And I'm excited for how this one's going to work, because what this is going to do is going to turn all the mercs into thinking you are a friendly. So if you activate this acquisition or schematic, what this is going to do is going to make all of the mercenaries think that you are on their team. They're not going to shoot at you. You know, they're not going to do any damage to you. And you will also get joined by a merc bodyguard who will follow you into the action. So you're going to have a personal bodyguard that's going to have a gun, which is going to be a mercenary that's going to, you know, take out zombies with you and help with that. A little bit similar to the dog bone acquisition, I suppose, because the dog would follow you around, take out zombies and stuff like that for you. But not only are you going to have a little companion that's going to help take you out zombies, you're also then going to become immune to the mercenaries. They're going to think you're on their team. They're not going to shoot at you. And I'm very interested to see how this works in terms of warlords, because I don't know if we could go into an entire warlord plays with this activated and none of the mercenaries and maybe even the warlords just don't even pay attention to us, and it could become a very, very easy kill. But obviously we don't quite know how this is going to work. It might be slightly different if you are going into a mercenary camp, because they might just be like, right, you can't go into that and have this activated. The mercs are still going to shoot you in that area. The warlord's still going to try and take you out. So I'm interested to see how it does play out. But speaking of warlords, guys, we are actually going to be getting a new warlord added into the game. We did know about this, and I believe this warlord is going to be very explosive based. So if we come into the area where this warlord is, so as soon as you get there, you need to expect mortar rounds and RPG fire on approach. So just from that alone, we can tell that it is going to be very explosive based with this new warlord. The new warlord, by the way, is named Rainmaker. As you can see on screen right now, is a little bit of information on that. So I'm excited to see how this does play out. Again, I'm just really hoping that we get better loot than the previous warlords, because realistically with the previous warlords, the loot just hasn't been good enough. And I mentioned this in one of my other videos, and a couple of you guys said, Harry, you actually get wonder weapon cases for defeating the warlords now, but even that for me just doesn't make it worth doing. I don't need to go out of my way to get a wonder weapon case. It's not really that interesting. So I'm hoping for taking down the warlord this time around, the loot is going to be a little bit better. Maybe a legendary aphid tool, you know, tier 2, tier 3 pack-a-punch crystals, things that are actually going to be useful that you guys can go ahead and use, because realistically no one is using wonder weapons that often within this game, and if they are, they're just taking them out of their schematics anyway. And of course, if you guys didn't see my recent video, there is actually a new couple of things coming in at Season 3 Reloaded. I don't know if it's coming with the very launch of Season 3 Reloaded, or if it's just coming at some time within the update. But we are going to be getting a doubled stash. So we are going to be getting our stash size go from 10 to 20. And they are also going to be added in exfil schematic cooldowns. And I believe the way the schematic cooldown is going to work, the more essence you leave a game with is the more time that will be taken off of your schematic cooldowns, which is a massive thing that is needed to be added for a long time. I'm fed up of waiting 12 hours for my legendary for tools and then 76 hours or whatever it is for my tier 3 pack-a-punch crystals. And I really want to be able to just bring that timer down so that I can keep using them over and over again, because someone like me who's trying to test out different guns for you guys to make videos on them, when I don't have legendary for tools or tier 3 pack-a-punch crystals available, I just simply can't make a video until I have one available. So I'm running around trying to loot up and trying to find that bit of loot, which is so tedious. Whereas I now know if I go into a game, just grind out a bunch of contracts, can probably leave with a bunch of essence, take that cooldown all the way down, and then be able to reuse them again pretty quickly. And this, in my opinion, is something that's been needed to be added for a pretty long time now, but I'm glad they are finally adding it. And like I said, our stash size is going to be going from 10 all the way up to 20. I wish they would add another way in that we could actually keep increasing this size. Let's say, for example, there was a challenge you had to go into a game, you complete 20 tier 3 contracts and you get an extra 2 stash slots. I think that's a pretty good way of doing it. You know, it's going to allow the players that are really grinding this game to be able to increase the stash all the time, because if you are grinding the game a lot, you're going to come across good loot, but a lot of the time you have to destroy that good loot because you just don't have enough space to store it and then go into the game with the stuff you want to go into the game with. So hopefully down the line we do also see them a way of adding some more stash size in. But that, guys, is about all the updates we are going to be getting for Season 3 Reloaded. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Are you excited for this to be dropping? I honestly cannot wait to get a new Dark Aether Zone, a new story mission, new Warlords, and all these sort of good things that are coming. And like I said, also the addition of the doubling of the stash and the exfil schematic cooldowns. I think they're going to be two really big additions that are going to make the game so much better. But like I said, please do let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. If you have enjoyed today's video, please do smash a thumbs up, as it helps me out way more than you guys could possibly imagine. If you haven't already, go and check out the rest of the channel for more zombies content. I think there's a load of content there that you guys will really enjoy. And if you do going to enjoy it, be sure to subscribe to the channel notifications so you don't miss any more videos that I do upload. And if you do want to become a member to the channel, you can do so by clicking the join button, which helps support me absolutely immensely. So a big shout out to you guys that have chose to do that so far. But I appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next one in a bit. Peace.